Hello and boom shakalaka. This is Rob Hamilton here from Soul Canyon Training and Development with another wonderful Excel tip. Today I want to show you about Flash Fill, and to be able to use the feature called Flash Fill, you'll have to be in 2016, the version of Excel called 2016 or Office 365, which is the 2016 version of Microsoft Excel. First of all, let me show you a little demo that I would do if I was teaching a normal live Excel class in terms of how to do something. First of all, I want to make you really aware, as I have in previous tutorials, these are not real Social Security numbers, so don't get concerned about that. But what we want to do first of all is convert these names to capitalized first and last names. So in a previous tutorial, I was showing you that you'd have to create some new fields over here, and then we'll just go ahead and copy that header over there. But the way you do it is with a function called proper. So every formula and function starts with equals. This one's called proper. You then reference the first name, and that is capitalized. That's what proper does. It capitalizes the first letter. Pull the autofill handle over. There's the last name. Double click on the autofill handle, and all the names are capitalized. Now, in order to get that information over here, you simply can't delete these uncapitalized names, because then you get the reference error, because that is actually referring to the uncapitalized name in order to capitalize it. So in order to get this over here, you then have to do a Control-C for copy, and then a Control-Alt-V, which is one way to do paste special, values. And then you can go ahead and delete these columns here. So without Flash Fill, that's the way you'd have to do it. You'd have to use the proper function, and then take the result of the proper function, copy it over to either in place or to the previous place where the uncapitalized names were, and then you'd have the names all fixed. Let me show you how easy it is now. I'm going to go ahead and just undo all of that stuff and pretend we're starting from scratch here. We would go ahead and insert two new columns, and then copy that header over here. Now all we'd have to do to use Flash Fill is start with the first record and capitalize it. So I'm going to capitalize Elizabeth, and then I'm going to capitalize Rittenhauer. Now there's a few different ways to use Flash Fill. Right over here on the Home tab, if you look to the far right, you'll see a Fill button, and if you drop that Fill button, you can get Flash Fill. But you'll notice down here that the keyboard shortcut to do Flash Fill is Control-E, so that's what I'm going to do. So I click right down below the capitalized Elizabeth, and I'll do a Control-E for Flash Fill, and you'll see the rest of the names are capitalized. I drop down here below the capitalized Rittenhauer, and I do a Control-E, and I Flash Fill down to the other names, and they're capitalized. All of this without having to go through the rigmarole of the proper function and copy and pasting values. Now all I have to do is delete these columns right here, and they're all capitalized. So that's Flash Fill. It takes a pattern of something that you're doing and repeats that pattern down to the end of the database. Flash Fill. Let me show you another example of it. When I'm teaching a live Excel class, I will demonstrate that if you had real Social Security numbers, you probably wouldn't want to display them like this. You'd probably just show the last four. So then I go ahead and show that you can do the concatenate function, so equals concatenate, and then on the front of that you just put the placeholder text xxx dash xx dash, and then we want to concatenate that to a function called write that's going after the text in cell D2 and giving us the last four of the social. And then we have to put the right paren on the end of that, and that's what we have. And we'll go ahead and center that, make it look really good, and then when we double click on autofill, it copies all the way down. So that's one way to do it, is use the concatenate function, which sticks things together, have the first element of text be the static placeholder text. It can be X's, it can be stars, it can be pound signs, whatever you want it to be, comma. The second bit of text is a function called write that will start on the right end of a string of text and give you however many characters you want from that string of text. So that's one way to do that. But check this out. If I was using Flash Fill, I'd go ahead and insert a column. I'd go ahead and copy I'd call it last four of the Social Security number. And then all I'd simply do is go XXX dash XX dash, in this case, 6733. Then all I have to do is get right below that, Control E, and it does the rest of the column. So that is flash fill. The whole idea of flash fill, which they rolled out with 2016 Office 365, is that if you take something and you just give it a pattern of what you want to do, it will predict that pattern in most cases and continue that down to the end of the database. Prior to that, we'd usually have to use a combination of concatenate and the text functions and all that kind of stuff in order to do it. Let me show you another example. So if we insert a column here, and let's say we want to create a new field called full name. Well, one way we could do it is we could say equals concatenate, and then we click on the first name, and then if we want a space between them, we have to put a quote, space, quote, comma, and then the last name. So that will do the first name in C2, a blank space, and then the last name in C2. And then it would give you something that would look like that, and you could double click on autofill. So you could either do that, or let's just highlight those and delete them. You could just say, well, I would just like Elizabeth Riddenhauer, and get right below that. And you guessed it, we're going to do a Control E, and we have the concatenated first name and last name all the way in there, all the way. If we wanted to make another field, we could just insert and say, well, let's do a directory listing. Instead of having to do it in concatenate, we just say Riddenhauer, comma, space, Elizabeth, and then down right below that, we'd hit Control A, and boom shakalaka, we got it. So check it out. If you're using Microsoft Excel 2016, the Office 365 version of Microsoft Excel, give flash fill a try. Keyboard shortcut is Control E. It's going to save you a ton of time if you work with databases and you need to create new fields, you need to correct entries and mass, you need to do a number of things just like I've done here. Good luck, have fun with it. If you have any questions at all about this tutorial, please feel free to contact me, rob@soulcanyon.com, or on my website, www.soulcanyon.com. Also, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel out on YouTube. Any questions at all, have fun with it. Take care. Bye-bye.